Can they hear us?
All right. What is up, everyone? That was kind of, I'm sorry about that. If you maybe heard us in the background, I'm still trying to get used to
just little giggles. Can they hear us?
Like, can they hear us? Trying to get used to doing live streams on my own for the first time. So anyway, welcome back. Here we are. Alex, thank you so much for joining me in this live stream. And yeah, we're gonna get to Peacemaker season 2, episodes 7 and 8. And I know we've been gone for a little bit. You know, Alex and I have been kind of busy, various things in our lives, doing some things. You know, having some fun. You know, life can't be all work. So we are back now, and we will talk about that. But we'll also be talking about some other things that we have speculated that we either didn't see come to fruition, because I am personally quite frustrated with the season finale. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty frustrated with it. But we'll get into that. And then we can talk about the one of the things in DC Comics that I've really wanted them to do, and Alex and I have discussed it before, is the Authority, and talking about them and that group, that band of ragtag crazy. Yeah, we'll talk about them, and we will also talk about any and all things DC, because that's what we do. So Alex, if you would be so kind to just kind of run through with us a little bit with episode 7 of Peacemaker, and then I will follow with episode 8, and then we'll get right into it.
All right, so honestly, in my opinion, episode 7 was probably the best episode of this season. But so we start off with Chris, or Peacemaker, realizing that he in fact is in a Nazi universe, and, which is just like, I was cracking up when he saw that mural of Hitler. He's like, how did I miss that?
It's literally right there.
Like, oh this is like right there. Come on, my guy. But he quickly locks in, and him and Harcourt escape from Argus, and only to be rescued by the the Blue Dragon.
Sorry, yeah, the Blue Dragon.
And Keith, who I believe his name's Captain Triumph, who just found out from the Blue Dragon that this is not his Chris, and this Chris murdered his brother.
Yeah.
So he's feeling some type of way about that. But more importantly, happening, another falling off that cliffhanger from episode 6, we got Adebayo running for her life from this white mob of Nazis.
Jesus, bro.
And, you know, she makes the questionable decision of diving into a pool. I would have just ran around it, but whatever.
Yeah.
And she's rescued by none other than Judo Master.
Of all people,
who I thought was going to be cooked in this universe. But, you know, I underestimated him, unfortunately. I'll take that L. But he rescues her, electrocuting all the Nazis in the pool, which was awesome. So they have a nice little bonding moment.
Yeah, that was
cool. Also, the vigilantes team up to go find Adebayo. And so the cast, they all meet back at the Blue Dragon's house where the portal is. And turns out that the Blue Dragon, he's not a Nazi. I mean, you know, bare minimum. People say he's a good guy. I would say he's not the worst guy.
You're scarred by the Augie from our universe. It's okay, Alex.
Yeah, I am. It's like he's just kind of letting the Nazi regime do its thing, but whatever. You know, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
He's not really a Nazi, and he just wants to get all of the Peacemakers group back together so he can just send them home and they can never return. And you're like, oh, okay, things are just going to go off without a hitch. That's nice. But then Vigilante busts through the window.
Jesus Christ, bro.
And murders the Blue Dragon, which, like, honestly, respect. I have to give some respect to Vigilante here because he's about that action. There is no question.
Yeah, that's true.
But then, you know, the police bust in. Captain Triumph is just like, you know, he's definitely all about the Nazi-ness. And so he's going for the kill on everybody.
Yeah.
And everyone is just like, jump this fool. And they start beating him to death and stabbing him and calling, everyone's jacking him up. But then Peacemaker stops them all. And he just comes to this realization that everywhere he goes, death follows, which, you know, is not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Like, yes, but you know,
yeah, he's kind of blaming him. I get what you're saying. He's kind of blaming himself unnecessarily.
He's putting a lot of the blame on himself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But Peacemaker spares his brother, and they all escape back through the portal with the alternate vigilante closing the door behind him, thus preventing the Nazis from following. And at the end, when they get back to the real world, Argus is waiting outside for Peacemaker, who turns himself in and clears the rest of the 11th Street kids of any wrongdoing. Ooh, that was a loud car. Sorry if you heard that.
No, you're good. I was like, what was that?
It's just we got race cars over here.
Hey, man. Hey, do you think?
Yeah, Peacemaker turns himself in and on it, and Judo Master with the clutch, like, yeah, that's totally the story.
I like that moment too. Yeah,
I was like, ooh, okay, Judo Master. Yeah, and that's the end of. Oh, and episode 7 ends with us seeing Captain Triumph, or Keith, still alive and very angry. So, who knows what's going to happen with that?
Yeah, well. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alex, for that synopsis of episode 7. So we get to episode 8. And just to kind of touch on some more things on episode 7, I agree with the whole Augie of this Earth X, being like, okay, he's not a Nazi. And he even said to Keith, I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, he was like, oh, we don't do that, or
leave him alone,
or something like that. He was like, don't do that, or something like that. And it was just kind of like, it took me back a bit, because it's like, okay, well, he's obviously a leader of the trio. He is the leader of the trio. So how would he not know that they're doing this or whatever? You know, like, how would he not know, or why, if he really did not like it or he had a problem with it, why would he just turn the other way instead of actually, you know, being like, hey, no, we don't do that. Like, if you hate them, whatever, that's fine. That's on you. But like, we're not going to round them up and put them in camps. Like, I don't know why he wouldn't have done that. So, I mean, I don't know, given more time, we could have maybe understood that Augie. I kind of wish that we did have more time with him. I wish that we could have had him in episode 8, the season finale. But as I get into what some things that happened in the season finale, it would have made sense to have him in there, because we weren't really on that Earth at all in the season finale. And basically, the episode 8 to me kind of just felt like a lot of, how do I put it nicely, like just a lot of fluff, if you will, like a lot of feel good fluff, kind of like a rock concert, kind of
an epilogue.
Yeah, there we go. It was more like thank you. It was more like an epilogue mixed with like a rock concert and flashbacks, and we got some not action, but some kind of furthering a story a little bit with Argus, you know, and being led by Rick Flag Sr., going into the quantum unfolding chamber to find a universe. Like, they were checking different universes to find an inhabitable one. And I really like Sasha Bordeaux's character arc in this, because she was all like, you know, F all of them, you know, they can all rot in hell, basically. And she realized that even though she started sleeping with her Flag Senior and all this other stuff, and she realized that he was kind of off his rocker, you know, like he's like, okay, well, why are we actually looking for another inhabitable space when you're sending people in here and they're getting murked? Like, people are turning into zombies. They're getting eaten by other extraterrestrial people on these other universes. Oh yeah, the imps. Maybe we still don't really know what the imps are, but I mean, hopefully we get a season 3 that'll somewhat be explained. But I guess it doesn't really matter because Augie's dead. So there's that. But yeah, I actually see that the whole thing we've been thinking about with Harcourt and Chris, you know, like what actually happened that night that he keeps talking about. And we finally see that she says that, you know, it meant something, you dipshit, you know, like it obviously meant something. And I'm like, well, look at her still being a bitch, but she's trying to show that she cared about him, you know. But I personally, with this episode, especially with it ending with Chris getting captured again and thrown into Salvation, which that's what they're calling it, Salvation, basically a metahuman prison. It's so fucked up. It's basically the same thing that Lex Luthor did in Superman, except not as well thought out and not as
dangerous.
Not as dangerous
to it.
even though we see at the end where Chris is like, yeah, exactly. Where you see Chris standing there and we hear these roars and we hear all these weird sounds that obviously are different entities and different species that are there. So obviously it's like an alien species or a different planet, but it's obviously inhabitable by humans. And there's a run in the comics called the Salvation Run, which is basically them rounding up metahumans when Flash's villains, they like kill Bart Allen, which is his grandson, and it becomes part of the Rogues or something. It's so wild. That comic strip run is crazy, and they just round up all these metahumans and get them and put them on this salvation planet. But the whole planet is a prison. It's like I forget the guy who was in that main boardroom who said to Rick Flag Sr., he's like, okay, so we're going to go here and we're going to build a prison here, but where here are we going to build a prison? And Rick Flag Sr. is like, no, the place is the prison. And they're like, what? You basically just took a note from Lex Luthor's book, even though you were trying to bag and tag Lex Luthor and said that he was a criminal, you're doing the same thing he did, and he's like, well, Lex Luthor, I may not like him, but he's the smartest man on the planet. And it's just like, Rick Flag, come on. From Creature Commandos to this, what happened to you, sir? But think about it. He got his back broken in Creature Commandos. He fell in love with that princess and all the stuff that happened with that. And then we get here, his son died before that. So he's had to process this in a weird, twisted, angry, non-healthy way.
Yeah.
And we get to where he finally finds Peacemaker, or it can at least get to Peacemaker, and then he's just hell-bent on revenge, which, I mean, all of us can agree. If we found the person that, hurt our son, a daughter, mother, father, significant other, our pet, even, we would want to do exactly what Rick Flag Sr. did, or worse.
Definitely with pet.
Yeah, especially the pet. Yeah, come on. We don't
touch my cat.
But I just don't. After the really amazing episode we had of episode 7, I get that we need to have a little like, okay, well, he's going to be imprisoned. He gave himself up, all this other stuff. They're searching for this. But I feel like we were kind of robbed in this final episode, especially for a finale. I feel like we were robbed. Yes, they did set up I'm so sorry. I completely brushed over all of this. And they set up the whole idea of checkmate, which is, I don't know if you remember, or anybody that was watching remembers, in the first episode of us talking about Peacemaker, I mentioned one of the groups that he was involved in the comics, which is Checkmate. And it's basically an extended version of Task Force X or the Suicide Squad, but with a little bit less rules, which, I mean, none of them have rules when you think about it. But that should go to show, like, okay, so Checkmate is a very interesting coalition set up based around chess pieces. So you have your pawns, you have the knights, the rooks, the queen, and the king. And in various sections of Checkmate, in different volumes of Checkmate in the comics, Amanda Waller at one point is the queen. Mm-hmm. And then at one point, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, is the king, or a knight or something like that. And then Mr. Terrific is a knight as well, and in like volume 3 of Checkmate. So, and Peacemaker is in it too, but then he passes away during a Juno project or something, and then he's revived. It's a whole thing. So
comic book stuff.
Yeah, it's a whole thing with the comic book stuff. So I wonder, since they brought in Checkmate like this, I wonder if they're going to kind of bring in that fact, like, okay, well, technically speaking, Chris in the comics, he dies on a mission or off-world. He's off-world now. He's got no equipment. He's got no backup. He's got no helmets. He's got no weapons. He has nothing. So is James Gunn trying to, maybe he purposely made this episode so like happy-go-lucky, concert vibe and just flashback, Chris and Harcourt, everybody's wanted to see whether or not they actually did anything, or if it's Chris just being a simp. And it wasn't. They actually did have something. So we got satisfied with that, closure a little bit. And then I thought it was funny that he just goes in his room and he's just cheering and the fist pumping here and dancing. That was really funny, and I mean,
be happy,
Chris, like look at how far he's come from that first episode and banging that chick that turned out to be one of the butterflies,
Oh, that was hella scary. I remember that.
That was wild.
Like,
And
nope.
then to now, like, you know, it's great to see his character develop. It's just I feel like there was a little bit of robbing that happened with this final episode. What are your thoughts about? I know I kind of went on a rant there. Sorry, but what are your thoughts on season 8? Season 2, episode 8, and
I was like,
how it all.
I missed so much.
Yeah, holy shit, we just
I
skipped
still
like
got
7
to catch
seasons.
up.
What are your thoughts on everything that went down and the way how the episode was structured and filmed? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, if James Gunn hadn't come out and said anything about like, oh, this is the best like few episodes of television I've ever done, if he hadn't said anything, I would have been like really down for episode 8.
Yeah.
I still personally, I still enjoy episode. I really liked it. It's definitely overhyped. I think it was more for like him. It was the best thing he personally loved filming, and I could see why. Like when it comes to like superhero stuff, one of my favorite things about it when they get into it is just like the personal lives of the characters, like how they connect with each other and just spend time together. I do like, absolutely, I want to see like them fighting and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but I want to see those connections too. And that was the majority of this episode. Like that whole scene, the Adebayo giving him that talk in the hotel room, like, me and my wife broke down. That got us.
It was real. It was real.
I was like, damn. And by the way, Danielle Brooks, I think that's her name, the actress who plays Adebayo.
Yeah.
I think she took the MVP of the series.
Yeah, especially
in terms of acting, I was like, that was her Oscar or her Emmy.
Her conversation with Adrian, bro. Poof.
I loved it. It was fantastic.
And my girlfriend was just saying she in Orange is the New Black. I don't know if you've seen that. I haven't seen that.
She's in that, right?
Yeah, she is in that. That's what she was saying. She's really good in that. So it's kind of made me want to, because of her, it's made me want to go watch that solely because you said it. I didn't mean to cut you, but I had to agree with you. Like she stole somehow. She actually was like so like subtle too. Yeah. And then she just stole the show. It's crazy.
She's just like, I'm going to wait till the final episode. All y'all go ahead and show off a bit. And then she just came in. Because also the breakup scene with her, I was like, I was glad because normally in like movies or shows, they always have some kind of loophole where the couple gets back together.
Yeah.
But it's so rare that we see like a healthy breakup.
Yeah.
Because like, people split apart. And it was just that performance, that back and forth between the two of them, that once again, I'm in tears. And it was just so fantastic. So like those moments I absolutely loved. Or the flashback with Peacemaker and Harcourt in the restaurant, being silly. Like I love these scenes, and when it came to those moments, I really enjoyed this episode. Now, the geek in me wanted more, more things, but on the personal side, I really appreciated it. Little disappointed that it was too short. I felt like the whole season as a whole was too short. Like each episode up until episode 8 was like 30 something minutes.
Yeah, that was weird. Just so short, and then I think it was like 30 something minutes, and then maybe one or two of them were close to 40. Maybe. Yeah,
I was like, hold on, was season 1 of Peacemaker? Was that also the case for?
I feel like season 1 had a lot more episodes that were like an hour or like 40 something minutes.
Yeah, most of them were about 40 minutes. On average, like 42 minutes.
Okay.
So like, all right, not that much longer, but 10 minutes can go a long way.
It really can.
And so like you said, you felt cheated a little by it. I kind of feel the same way. It's just like, all right, I really like what you gave me, but can I get a little more?
Yeah, just a little more. Like we didn't need. I don't know if you. I don't know if you might disagree with this, but I feel like we didn't really need so much of like the backstory on Harcourt and Chris. Like we've gotten a lot of that throughout the series in general from season 1. And especially in season 2, they especially going over to the Nazi world, they kind of did a lot more stuff with them. I feel like we didn't need to focus too much on them, just mainly on that scene where, you know, they actually did kiss, and then they talk about it later on, like, oh, was it ever real? You know, that was important. That was important.
Yeah.
And I will firmly say that the breakup scene was so necessary.
Yeah.
So necessary. And I agree that I was sitting here watching that and I'm like, damn, this is actually making me kind of tear up a little bit, because the acting from the both of them, especially Danielle, but she was so phenomenal in that scene that honestly, I couldn't even, I couldn't turn away. Like, it made me feel uncomfortable to be one of them, but that's the point.
Yeah.
Because she made such good points. At first I was like, oh, this isn't going to go well. And then she's like, no, I'm not here to get you back. I'm actually here to tell you that it's just not going to work.
Let you go.
You know, like I know my mom's Amanda Waller, and she, you know, I didn't know that this was what I was made for, and I have to embrace it instead of, you know, shying away from it. And in order for me to do what I want to do out of life and be happy, you won't be happy and you'll get killed. Oh no, she didn't even say you won't be happy. She'll say you get killed, because she will
kill you.
Yeah, they will use her as a leverage or bait, you know? And she's like, you know, and if I were to just live with you and do what you want to do, I would feel trapped. And that's just like, Jesus, that's real. It's real. It was so real. And it's
valid.
And that's why I love this show so much, and why it grew on me so much, because they have those moments. The whole show, Peacemaker is he's a twat. You know what I mean? Like he's a goofball. He's an idiot, but he's smart in battle sometimes. But he's just an idiot. And especially when the comics went from, I think, Dark Horse or something, and then it went over to DC. That's when it got really dark to where it is now. So this show is meant to be like that, right? But I love that they put these moments in there, because it just makes it so much more real. It makes it so much more real. And I love that. That. And
the series, I was just saying, the series focuses more on the human aspect of these otherworldly characters. And, you know, while we don't get as much like superhero-ness, we get what kind of like the personal lives of a superhero is, and it's a different look at it, and I really enjoyed that, you know. And I like how well-rounded all of these characters are. Like, you know, back in episode 7 where Adebayo was talking about Peacemaker, the judo master, like, yeah, he's not smart and he has his rough edges, but when you get to know him, he's very sweet, he's very caring, like one of the nicest people you can meet. He just loves everyone, you know. It's just, there's just all these different sides. And so like while the season for me didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, I still feel fulfilled in a way where, you know, it's just like, well, I'm still connected with these characters. So like, I still love them. Like, it could just be them like, oh, I'm going to work this week. And I would be like, well, I like these people. So yeah, I want to see them go to work.
Yeah, because you know, even if they're going to work,
you know,
they're gonna get into something, and it's gonna be funny, and it's gonna be great. Yeah, I agree, man. These characters really grew on me a lot from season 1, but season 2, it's really just showcased what they can do with these characters and how they can make them likable even if you don't like them. And I think that shows a lot when it comes to directing and also casting and chemistry as well with various actors and actresses, because in the first season I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, everybody's all right, I guess. But you know, I mean, I know some of these people and I like them. I've seen them in other things, so cool. But you know, it went on and I'm like, oh, they're great. They're all great.
They kind of cooking here.
So I mean, it's a really well written show, and I just think that I don't know what James Gunn was thinking with the final episode. And I mean, he said he'd had a fun time directing it and doing it. So I mean, it could have been one of those things where it's like he really just wanted to make something like, yeah, he's doing it for the fans, but he wanted to make something that was like his little
Like
Pride
for
Baby or something.
yeah,
Like I don't know. It just seemed more like James Gunn than normal. Like a oh well, he did this so that he could rewatch this and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Which is
yeah,
fine. But it's just man, I wish that they I wish that they just did something a little bit different with
yeah,
the episode. You can fixate on some things, but just not for too long. We spent the season building up about the Earth X, and everything, and then we just we found out that Keith was still alive, and then that was it. They didn't touch on it like really once at all in this episode, and it's just like I don't know. I feel like we still need to talk about that and incorporate that because think of Salvation, that what Rick Flag Sr. was looking for.
right.
So it's basically the same thing. He's just rounding up metahumans, and he's going to be rounding up metahumans, and he's just gonna imprison them on this planet.
Yeah.
And it's just exactly like what the Nazis would do with various people of color and who aren't white, if they would do that in Earth X. So it's like, why wouldn't we make parallels? Like, well, they kind of did, but like not. I don't know. It's my mind is all over the place with this episode because, yeah, you said it. If he didn't say, brag about them and rave about them, saying that these are going to be the best two episodes, I would have been like, oh, okay, well, that was all right. That was the season finale. Cool. I think I just expected. I think I expected like a little too much.
Yeah, and especially with the whole like review embargo he had. Like, no one saw these episodes because I wanted it to be a surprise, and I feel like 6 and 7 did live up to that.
Yeah, 100%.
Episode 8,
yeah,
it was a great episode. Like, it made me cry, so I can't say it wasn't good, but it's just like, oh, yeah, I wanted more, but I do appreciate how it's not. I respect that the DCU is trying to be different from the MCU, where it's building upon the universe, but not in a way where it's just like they have to follow up with this exact thing. Whereas, like, in the MCU, you have end credit scene. Oh, you see Doctor Doom at the end with Franklin Richards. The next movie has to lead into that, like lead from that. And lately the MCU has been ignoring that, but
big time.
That's a whole nother conversation. But the DCU is just how I see it doing things is it's just opening up to like, okay, this is a much bigger issue now. Now we got Salvation, we got Checkmate. Then now they can go in multiple directions. So for me, I feel like Salvation, they're going to be putting metahumans in there. How are you going to get the metahumans in there? Like, you saw what they did to an entire country's military. So you're going to need metahumans to capture those metahumans. So I think that's what's going to lead us at some point to the Authority. Because, we have, Rick Flag Sr., who's now buddying up with Lex Luthor, and he's becoming friends with all of Lex Luthor's associates. One of his former associates is the Engineer.
Yep. She's in the Authority.
Who's in the Authority.
Yeah, and it was confirmed that she wasn't necessarily dead in Superman.
No, she was unconscious. She fell from space. So, like, good for her. She lasted.
Yeah, I mean, her whole blood and the whole everything is nanites, right? Yeah, not nanobots, nanites. So it's like, yeah, she might get hurt, but she'll probably self-heal and be just fine. So yeah, and she's part of that. Which
I fell from space. I need to take a nap. Just give me a few hours. Like,
honestly, no, literally, especially if they go comic book engineer. Yeah, no, there'll be no. But the thing is, that's crazy about the Authority is there's a version of the Authority with Superman in it. So so I'm like, interesting. The group of people that are superheroes, but they dish out their own brand of justice however they see fit, has a leader, Superman. But in that specific universe, I think it's more like he doesn't have any powers and he's trying to, like, it's not necessarily a bad version of the Authority, like, or the normal version of the Authority. It's like a different version of the Authority. But it's like an older Superman. He's got like the gray hair and like the black hair, and I believe he's depowered. I have to double check, so don't quote me. But I believe like he doesn't have his powers for some reason, and he's like working with them for I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, but that'll be another topic for DC Decode, because
Absolutely.
I love the Authority and I love like the idea behind it, and I feel like that's what something like that is what DC needs nowadays, because people like the anti-hero. People love heroes, don't get me wrong, but they also love a good anti-hero. So if you could have a good balance, that's what Marvel's been doing. Hello, that's why they're still so very successful. So I think that if they tried a little bit more to get the Authority in full effect and get it to where you don't have to do everything strictly comic book accurate, panel for panel, page for page. I mean, if you do, great. Well,
we'll love you for it.
We'll love you for it. Yeah. But I mean, if they can just get the general basis of the Authority, because I mean, I'm not even sure they can really pull off everything that the Authority does, because a lot of it's brutal. So, I mean, but at the same time, I think James Gunn would have a field day with that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know if maybe that's what they're kind of teeing up a little bit, because I've seen him talk a little bit more about the Authority and trying to introduce Static Shock, but there's like, all these rights and stuff, which whatever. But
rights be ruining fun ideas. just let
let the man cook with Static Shock. Like, come on.
Just come on. We all want it. We'll give you money. You want money? We'll give it to you. Just give us Static Shock and we will give you money.
Literally. You don't.
How much money do you want?
They don't want any more money, apparently.
No, I don't want money. I want to make less money.
Dude, that episode just it was just such a okay. When I say it was a bad follow-up, I don't mean it was a bad episode. Let me just be clear. I don't mean bad episode. I just mean bad follow-up to what we had in episode 7.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I liked certain aspects of it. Getting to this whole salvation, building up the salvation thing. Yes, that's what we need to see. Adebayo and her ex. Yes, we needed to see that. Chris and Harcourt, we needed to see that little interaction. But, and Adrian and Adebayo, we needed to see that too, because that was a good scene.
Yeah.
She truly showed the Amanda Waller side of her during that scene. Like,
I guess I'm a better friend than you. I would take on a blood curse to help Chris. I don't know. That's just me, though.
She manipulated the hell out of him, and it was great.
I was like, there's a little Waller there.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, I don't know. They could be teeing up, Adebayo maybe being the leader of Checkmate. Like how Amanda Waller is the queen in one aspect of Checkmate. Maybe Adebayo. Ooh, that'd be cool if Adebayo was like the queen in their version of Checkmate. Because all of those people are in Checkmate at some point. So, sorry, our dog's just being himself.
He's just like, pay attention to me. What are you talking about?
No, that's literally what he's doing right now. You
gotta feed me or you gotta play with me. I don't know about this superhero stuff.
He doesn't care. He's just like, come on, I want my ball. I want to do this. But he's our little stinker. We love him. Yeah, no, and I'm glad. Oh, speaking of animals, I'm so glad that Eagly has been perfectly fine all of this time. Like
he has been chilling. Other than even when the Saint Red John dude was hunting him, he was still kind of like chilling. There's other Eagles were killing.
Bro, Eagly, he wasn't even worried. I love how he looks at him. He does like that head tilt. And then Red St. Wild is like looking at him like, oh crap. And then the whole Prime Eagle thing comes out. That was probably one of the best. Wow, one of the best incorporations of an animal in in a superhero thing and a superhero sidekick I've seen in a while. That was so good. And Eagly is such a badass. Wow. I would have loved to see him on Earth X more doing freedom, messing up some Nazis. That would have been fun, man.
Freedom. I honestly wanted, and this, I know there's a lot, and this was just like, if they do this, icing on the cake. Just sick GI robot in there. What's sick GI robot on Earth X? He would, what a beautiful day.
Bro, I am so mad that we finally got another Earth X in live action aside from the CW TV series, and they didn't bring GI Robot in. And what's worse is he's part of Checkmate. He's part of that group. So it's like, why the hell did you not use that opportunity to bring in that character from Creature Commandos that we all loved, and then put him in here, even if it was just 15 seconds.
Quick little like end credit scene, like, hey, J Robot, head in there real quick.
He's like, hey, do you miss killing Nazis? Yes, I love killing Nazis. Well, we got a job for you. End it. Boom. That would have been perfect. But
Just
no,
go to town.
We got a montage of flashbacks and rock concerts and crap. Yeah, that's what we got. Maybe not crap, but just a montage.
Yeah, montage of stuff that made me cry. I'm a softie. I was like, oh, connection, human emotion. Oh.
No, I can't hate that one scene, but I see a light bulb just popped off.
I just thought we were talking about Earth X, and I remember the last episode we did, I was worried about how Chris would respond once he realized it's a Nazi universe.
Ooh,
and yeah. I'm glad that as soon as he was stupid about it. Like, you think I'd get this big if I read books? I was like, okay, the Nazi, and then the Hitler mural. He's like, how the fuck I missed that?
Yeah.
But like, once he realized his predicament, I appreciate it and have more respect for him, how he just locked in. He's like, hey, we got to break up. And then immediately starts chaos. So I'm like, okay, all right, no conflict. The only conflict he had was with his family, which I get that.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world, he's like, oh, heck no, we got to go.
No, I'm glad. I agree with you. I'm glad that it wasn't like a, man, should I stay? Should I do this? Like, he didn't even, he was just like, oh no, we can't do this. Nazis, nah, we're out. And the only thing he was concerned about was his actual family, only because they're dead.
Yeah.
He wasn't he didn't care about the Nazi regime thing, which I'm glad that I would hope, Christ, his best friend is a black girl. I would really hope that he would care. So that's a black gay girl, mind you, which, wow.
In that universe, in that reality, that's double death.
Exactly. Like, if they would have caught her and found that out too, oh my God, that would have been terrible. Because what they, how they did that in the CW series. Yeah, that was rough. So, I'm glad that they didn't go too much with like the racial stuff with the Nazi world. I'm glad that they just kind of put it out there like, hey, we got a black. And then they chased that. Like, that was, bro, like when they said that, I was like,
that was wild.
Woo! Like, man, James Gunn.
I expected something like that in a Nazi
I just didn't expect
universe.
It so voraciously like that. That was crazy.
It was weird because like I expected it. And then when it happened, I was still shocked and horrified.
I didn't think they were
just how we said, oh, black. And I'm like, no, he just black? Like,
yeah, my jaw literally dropped. I was like, wow, they really went full-blown Earth X on this, and I love it, though.
Like, I remember just watching, I was just, like, horrifying.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah, I'm glad that, Peacemaker locked in. And then, like, I like, and, like, back what I said earlier about how the characters are not just black and white. There's a lot more complicated. I really like this version of Augie because it's like he's not a bad guy. He's not a Nazi. He doesn't support the Nazis, but at the same time, and nothing against. I'm not complaining about the right. I'm just saying like that's what makes the character interesting. That it's making us think this deeply about the character. Is like, dang, well, he's the bare minimum good. Like, I'm not a Nazi, but like. He has all these resources and this powered suit. He could do a little bit of something. Like his explanation is like, I just focus on the monsters and stuff that I can deal with. And I'm like, okay, I would give you some leeway if like a normal person said that like wasn't super wealthy and had a robot suit. But like, you kind of have some pull. I don't know if Overman exists in this version of Earth X, which, I would see that being a problem.
Yeah, that would be a huge problem.
But I'm just like, dude, like, if you don't support the Nazi regime, but you're not trying to
stop it,
put it on blast, like, throw some money, sneak some money towards the Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty. Yeah.
I was about to say Sons of Anarchy. Give them some money too.
Yeah, no, at least under the table, fund them. You know, so like
that's what I was expecting. Like, how ironic it would be if Vigilante killed the Blue Dragon when he was for the Sons of Liberty, when Blue Dragon was technically the one funding the Sons of Liberty. Like, that would be cool.
I wish see now that's what I'm talking about. If we found out something like that in this episode while we're having these montages, like they flash to that world, to that universe, Earth X, and it's like you see a flashback of like that Augie talking to the Sons of Liberty, giving them weapons, being like, hey, look, you know, I got to keep up a persona, but I at least want to do my part, you know, until we have enough resources and we have enough people on this planet that will rise up against the Nazi regime, because it's Earth X. It's not like City X. It's Earth X. So the entire world is run by Nazis. So even if he funds that city of the Sons of Liberty, there's still a plethora of like Nazi warriors that would come and just decimate all of them. So, you know, it would be crazy if they just hinted at an Overman, you know, it just like an evil Flash, an evil Supergirl, an evil Green Arrow. Like, just it would have been cool to see all of these like different people from Earth X. But
yeah,
there's a reason. And so I guess we'll see, because again, in Checkmate, there's a Green Lantern, there's Mr. Terrific, there's Martian Manhunter, there's Green Arrow at one point, there's all of these people. Lois Lane at one point is part of that. So it's like,
just come on, you want to join? All right, get in here.
Like, what are we doing? So
we need a roster.
No, for real. Like, they're the different versions of them. I'm like, what were these people doing part of this organization? So I'm very curious, very, very curious to see. And I don't really, I mean, I don't even have any speculations for season 3. I can't even think of what they might do for
well, are they there were no plans to do a season.
No, I mean, like, hypothetically, you know, like hypothetically, like, if we got a season 3, what, you know, he's obviously on plantation. What? He's obviously on Salvation. So he's not going to get out unless Rick Flag Sr. has a change of heart, which that's not going to happen. Or and hold on, you said it. Can we talk about the fact that we have like 2 or 3 of Lex Luthor's lackeys working with Rick Flag Sr. now? I saw that in the
whole
scene.
group. They have the whole setup like they do in the
Superman movie. Yeah.
Like, they're pretty much all there again.
Huh. So I like those parallels. That was kind of crazy.
And like that dude, Rick Flag, ever since Creature Commandos, is just like he just kept dipping his toes a little bit more in the messiness.
Yep.
And then just full on it. And like I kind of get the descent into madness, like grieving over his son's murder. And then, you know, having to deal with the whole Creature Commandos thing, like getting jacked up by Clayface, like seeing how much metahumans are affecting the world around him. And then, you know, going to the events of Superman and all that, like that would I understand the descent. So I think that was really cool to see. I thought that was well done, especially if, you know, if you watched all three of those, you know, Creature Commandos, Superman, and then this, like, it makes sense that descent into messiness that he has. So like, I'm curious to see like how that's gonna lead into the next Superman movie. Like, man, it's more like we have no confirmation yet who the villain is. A lot of people are saying Brainiac. I hope it is. That'd be cool.
That'd be sick.
But it's always gonna have something to do with Lex Luthor and his redemption that, you know, Rick Flag offered him in episode 6. What will that redemption be? Like, I'm kind of thinking right now, like Rick Flag's just I was kind of trying to be poetic with it, but I just been noticing he's just been everything he's been a part of. I just feel like he's just been like feeding off of it and like using whatever power he has to put himself in a better position. And I'm just like, what if he messes around and becomes Parasite? That's what he's acting like right now.
That's crazy. I was just thinking the animated movie that's on HBO called Superman Man of Tomorrow. the villain is Parasite, and instead in that one it's a janitor at Star Labs or something that helps Clark Kent get into Star Labs, but like nobody knows. It's like the beginning of Superman in the Tomorrowverse. So like nobody really knows who Superman is yet. Like he hasn't even donned the suit yet. Like he's going out in some biker glasses and like some beanie and a black jacket and khaki pants, and it's like
Sons of Anarchy.
No, literally, it's just like, Clark, what did you think? And all of his clothes burn off when he's fighting Lobo. It's like, okay, so that if they did that, that'd be a really good incorporation of that animated movie with the live action, because making him Parasite in Man of Tomorrow, the villain is Parasite. So I mean, but Lex Luthor's also in that too. But yeah, it's like the beginnings of Superman, and Martian Manhunter comes in. So it would be cool if they brought in Martian Manhunter too. But
Agent Flurry.
Hey, listen. I would not be mad if Tim Meadows became Martian Manhunter in that series. That'd be cool.
I don't know. I would love him. I would love him.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Awesome.
But I also kind of just want him to be Agent Flurry, because
I love he's cool.
Agent Flurry as is. You know, that's where I'm at right now.
Him questioning Adrian at the end with spider facts, that was hilarious.
They have tiny little udders.
Can they fly? No. Yeah, they can. Like, what the hell?
Spiders can fly. They use their web, right? To just catch on.
To like glide. To like glide.
At least the babies.
I forget what he said. He like said some scientific stuff, but basically it's like using their web and they like glide and stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
Generate their own electricity. I liked that pairing. I want to see more. I once again, I want to apologize to Judo Master.
Yeah.
I just assumed once he got to that reality, he was cooked, but I'm like, he's a survivor.
Nice.
Like what we've been seeing these past 2 seasons is he survives. He gets messed up, but he always makes it out.
Yeah, and he has his snacks. That's all that matters.
And he's always eating something. And that's the only thing I can't stand about it. He's always eating something, and it gets me hungry. I'm like, I'm supposed to be fasting right now. And he's just munching on hot Cheetos.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and it's always hot Cheetos. Like, what the fuck? Why is he?
No lie. I just recently ate hot Cheetos for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Just never got around to it. Just didn't care for them. I just liked regular Cheetos, and that's it. They're pretty bomb.
Yeah, bro. Hot Cheetos are awesome.
They're pretty bomb.
So so yeah, I don't really have anything else for that episode, man. Like I was gonna tear it up a little bit, but as I thought about the more meaningful scenes, it's a pretty decent episode for what it is. You know, it's a pretty decent episode for what it is. Would I classify it as a good season finale? No. Would I classify it as a good episode in general? Yes. Would I classify it as a terrible episode? No. So I mean, like, as a season finale, I definitely wanted more. But for an episode, if this was like episode 7, and then the finale was like how episode 7 actually was, you know, but in a different way, hell yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like we could have gotten a little more. Any final thoughts on the episode?
I was going to ask you if you could add just one more scene to the season finale to like turn it all around for you, to make it like, oh dang, that was a great ending. What would you add?
The Justice Gang. I'd have the Justice Gang meet with Checkmate, or at least one member meet with either Harcourt, Economos, Fleury, or Bordeaux. And I would, have either not 2 members of the Justice Gang, because in the beginning of the season we had Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl, and they were, you know, making fun of Peacemaker or whatever. So I wouldn't mind if they had like a small scene, just very small, very, very small, and them coming in and be like, so how did it all work out with that Peacemaker of yours? You know, just having Nathan Fillion just smacking on gum, just, you know, trying to talk smack. And it's like, actually, we're trying to save him right now, because Rick Flag Sr., the guy who locked up Superman because of Lex Luthor, he actually locked up Chris with similar technology. And then maybe they would have a moment where it's like, oh, not this again, like from Superman, you know, and if they just something so small, but that would kind of make the whole episode worth it. I feel like that would be it for me.
That's a good one. That would turn it around for me. Ooh.
Yeah, we got a comment from Anthony. Just getting out of a movie, hopping to show some love, but I still haven't seen any of season 2. Yeah, it's all good, man, because we pretty much talked about everything already. So you kind of came in at a great time.
Actually, spoilers right now. You better get out of here. Everyone dies.
Well, I mean, in some instance, it just depends on who you consider everybody.
there is a large amount of people.
Yeah, especially in season 1. Christ. Do you have any final thoughts about Peacemaker season 2, my friend?
Overall, like I would say, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed season 2. Season 1 was better. I feel like it gave me more of everything that I wanted, whereas season 2 gave me all the like human connection that I want out of it, but I needed more superhero.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was missing. I was like, it's like eating a delicious meal. It has flavor, but like I need some of the spice too. I need a little kickback.
Need a little kick. And we did not get that. So,
but overall, like if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give season 2 7.5. 7.5.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. It's pretty solid because overall the season was pretty decent. Throughout we had a lot of build up, a little bit more build up than I would have liked, but sometimes you do need that. So, yeah. But overall, season 1, yeah.
I remembered something that has been bugging me the whole time. Where did the helmets come from?
Oh yeah.
Like, did the Blue Dragon create his technology? Like where did he get is he smart enough to make that stuff? Or because when Adebayo asked him like where do you get their helmets, and Chris was like, it's complicated. And that was the end of it. Like I'm like, hold on. You did a lot of quick wrapping up in the season finale. I still needed that.
Yeah, I don't think I don't remember the Augie of Earth X saying anything about creating the helmets. He just said that when he met his doppelganger from the other Earth, he's like, "Oh, I didn't like him. I didn't agree with his methods and agree with his thoughts on things." So it's like, I don't know if they were like already there, if somebody else made them. Like that's a mystery that he's solving.
It was that one. Oh, and then there was a theory behind that I saw a fan theory that said those helmets belonged to the new gods, like Orion and all that, because he has a similar looking helmet.
Not similar, exact replica. I'm literally envisioning Young Justice right now. Oh my goodness.
I'm like, that would be dope.
Because Orion's whole fit is very similar to Peacemaker's.
Mm-hmm.
With the helmet and like the way how he is dressed is very similar to Peacemaker's. Bro, if they do like a new gods kind of thing, oh my goodness, that would be wild. That would explain where the technology came from, especially the quantum unfolding chamber.
Yeah, it's just like I went in there, found some people that thought high and mighty of themselves, and I stole their stuff.
I mean, the Augie from the normal Earth would say something like that and do that. So
yeah, for sure. And then also one last thing, I wanted more from that one alien that kept popping out and throwing it away, like incinerating those little creatures. I was like, oh, I wanted something with that to wrap
just
up.
At least go somewhere, like at least have them talk or say where they're from, a reference to something.
Yeah.
Maybe
I was kind of thinking that alien was going to lead them to salvation. Like, hey, check that door.
Oh,
like something.
Yeah, but they never once ran into that alien while they were scurrying around. That was a missed opportunity. And then that would have been an opportunity for them to try and like capture that alien. But then we see what that alien can do, and they're like, okay,
my bad, dog.
Yeah, but overall, it was a fun season, just not as good as the first one.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it happens. There's hits, and I wouldn't say this was a miss.
No, not at all.
but it's not my favorite of the DCU.
Yeah, no, it's not a miss whatsoever. But yeah, I will say it's the season, as the season was building, I was very excited. I mean, I will tell you, I was really excited. And then after episode 7, I was like, okay, they're about to top
To go down.
last season. Yeah, they're about to top last season. And then, it's I don't know why he did that, but I guess in time we'll see. We shall see.
We shall see.
But all right, if you have no other thoughts, then we'll wrap this up here. Thank you guys so much for joining us yet again on DC Decode, talking about Peacemaker. And now Peacemaker's done, and we will be moving forward with The Authority. We'll be talking about Superman, Man of Tomorrow, the Supergirl movie, Static Shock, anything and everything DC that you can think of. We will probably and most likely 100% be talking about it. So definitely stay tuned for that. Alex, before we go, do you want to talk about anything that you have coming up, any videos that you might have released or that you're going to release?
Honestly, I'm just going to be preparing for future DC Decode episodes. A new Batman animated movie came out recently, Aztec Batman, that I got to check out.
Sorry, what?
Aztec Batman? It's Batman, but like an Aztec.
yeah.
I was just like,
that's really cool. Yeah, what the heck?
And like, Hernan Cortez becomes like Two-Face. Like
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just saw it. I just saw a trailer.
When did it come out? If you know,
like the beginning of October.
What?
Yeah, I was trying to watch it on HBO Max because it said, "Oh, it's going to be on HBO Max on October 7th," and then it wasn't there, and it's still not there, and so I guess I got to rent it. Yeah. But yeah, Aztec Batman, check that out.
Yeah, I am definitely gonna check that. Have you seen the Justice League, Batman Ninja vs. the Yakuza League?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. That was
give me more just random like mixed match of characters. Give them different themes. I was a big fan of the. I only read one of the comics, but I gotta get more of them. Is DC, but in medieval times, like the DC Knights or something.
Oh man. I know what you're talking about, but it's like the medieval era of like with DC heroes and villains. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome. So stuff like that, I'm a big fan of.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you guys. The link to Alex's channel is in the description box. So definitely give him a like and subscribe. And he has great content. As you can see, he's very passionate about DC and just nerdy things in general. So definitely go over there, show him some love, tell him I sent you.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
For sure. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week in another episode of DC Decode, and stay tuned for what the topic is because it'll be a mystery. All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Bump.